Hi, my name is Mike Ward. I'm the Global Director of Content at Scrip, The Pink Sheet and In Vivo. We're here at the Biotech Showcase 2018, a meeting that runs parallel with JP Morgan Healthcare Conference, which is the traditional kickoff meeting for the pharmaceutical industry, where investors, pharma executives, biotech companies all get together to sort of discuss the issues that face the industry, as well as sort of looking at progress and also opportunities for deal making. Every now and then there's also some sort of seismic announcement that is around the meeting, which takes people by surprise. One of the pieces of big news this week is Pfizer actually sort of saying that it's going to retreat away from the neuroscience space, but nevertheless it's still an area of some interest. So I'm joined by Norbert Riedel, who's the president and CEO of Aptinyx. So you're a neuroscience focused company, but with a sort of kind of a slightly interesting history, because you are in fact a kind of a spin out, or maybe a fallout from another biotech company that was also in the neuroscience space, Naurex. So could you just sort of explain what happened to Naurex and how Aptinyx was first created?
So Mike, first of all, it's a pleasure to have this opportunity to talk with you. Naurex is a company based in Evanston, Illinois. Yeah. The technology was spun out of Northwestern University, and it focuses on a very, very highly recognized molecule or receptor in the brain called the NMDA receptor, which is involved in normal brain physiology in many, many diseases of the brain. Yeah. And Naurex actually developed an approach to treat diseases by modulating that receptor instead of shutting it off, which is more traditionally what pharmaceutical companies have done. Yeah. And when we advanced 2 programs all the way to phase 2 in patients in major depressive disorder, we had very, very promising results, very differentiated results. And pharma expressed a lot of interest, and we ultimately decided to enter into a transaction with Allergan, based in New Jersey, basically domiciled in Ireland, and sold our 2 lead molecules to Allergan and spun out our entire small molecule chemistry, our technology, our people, our facilities into a new co called Aptinyx to develop our approach in modulation of the receptor into many areas of therapeutic interest that fall outside of where Allergan has its major focus. So it served the purpose of Allergan extremely well. And it also allowed us to basically not lose the opportunity to develop earlier stage assets all the way into the clinic.
So the creation of Aptinyx, you took the whole team, or most of the team from Naurex. So what sort of position did you then sort of raise money with Aptinyx?
Yeah, so we kicked off Aptinyx in August of 2015. We raised a very successful A round in May of 2016, just a few months later. It was led by New Leaf. It was actually completed by Fraser, Longitude, Adams Street Partners. And we were still a preclinical stage company at the time. And we were able to use our funding to advance our lead molecule from preclinical to IND into phase 1 and by now into phase 2. A second molecule was advanced into an IND and is now in phase 1. And a third molecule is going to be an IND this summer. So within 2.5 years' time, we became a clinical pipeline company, when prior to that we were a preclinical stage. And we just literally 2 weeks ago announced the closure of a B round of $70 million led by Bain Capital, with Adam Koppel joining our board. So it's been a really wonderfully successful.
And the Series A round, how much did you raise?
65 in the A.
65, 70
in the B. So we had $135 million and are now funded all the way through the end of 2019 to develop our molecules in the clinic.
And they're all NMDA modulators?
They must be NMDA receptor modulators, otherwise we will not pursue them.
Right, okay. So the lead program, what's that focusing on?
The lead program is focused on what we call neuropathic pain. Chronic pain that can be induced by diabetes, by chemotherapy, by various forms of damaging nerves. Neuropathic pain is a huge area of unmet medical need for patients. We have wonderful data that guide us into that indication, and we are using painful peripheral neuropathy, diabetic neuropathy, as one indication. That's in phase 2, and we have another phase 2 study ongoing in a disease called fibromyalgia, which is chronic pain associated with mood disturbance and sleep disturbance. Both of those are in phase 2 now, and both of them are targeted to read out by the end of this year.
Right. The pain space is kind of controversial at the moment, with sort of like the opioid epidemic, I think it's got. So has that helped your company?
Look, I would say that if you critically ask how well are chronic pain patients served with therapies available to them today, I would say there is a lot that can be improved with respect to safety, cardiovascular safety, people responding better to therapy, not becoming addicted to the therapy like you mentioned in Opioid Crisis. Our molecules, I believe, have shown to be able to address that. We still have to prove that in the clinic, but everything we have seen so far suggests that this is a treatment modality that truly offers efficacy and a much improved safety profile.
Right. So if we specifically look at the program, so the lead program, what have you shown so far that gives you encouragement?
So very typically in our industry, we actually have to do a lot of preclinical work. There are animal models that are well-established animal models to look at pain, chronic pain, in various paradigms. In all of those that we have looked at, our molecule looks very, very promising in reducing pain. And then you need to show it's safe, of course, right, which you do in preclinical studies, but also in phase 1 human studies. We completed that. The safety profile is superb in healthy volunteers at this stage. And now we have enough information to say, look, everything we know about it suggests that we should do a human clinical trial in patients. And I think every piece we have looked at so far suggests that we are on the right track.
Right, and is the plan that how far are you going to take this as Aptinyx, or are you looking for partners to help?
Yeah, so if successful, and if the next phase of our development is large phase 3 trials, I believe, like I did at Naurex, that a larger pharmaceutical company with a focus in neuroscience is better suited to conduct those large trials and ultimately commercialize the product. So at that stage, I think we would be very interested in exploring partnerships just to optimize our timeline to market so that patients can have access to this therapy as quickly as possible.
So the two lead programs, the sort of diabetic
neuropathy
and in fibromyalgia, okay, and you said you have other programs?
Yes. So another one is in a phase 1 study. We will look at PTSD as an indication, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. And again, we have really, really promising data in that space. We have models in which we can actually test it in animal models. And so far, so good in phase 1. That should start phase 2 trials probably third quarter and should likely read out those phase 2 results about a year later, that make it third quarter of 2019.
Right. So the financing you got for the Series B, was that to essentially bankroll that clinical activity?
Yeah. So the A round I mentioned with 65 million in May had as a primary focus to show that we could actually advance into IND and show safety in phase 1. After the results came out really, really stellar, our investors became much more bullish in saying, look, we need to enable this pipeline much more broadly with more molecules, and the B round actually delivers that. I should also mention to you that the compounds we have are all de novo compounds that we actually came up with. They are not repurposed off-the-shelf drugs from sort of like leftovers somewhere. They are all composition of matter IP protected and offer a novel chemistry, which also added significantly to the investor interest in actually participating in this round.
Okay, so a meeting like this is where, as I say, investors and pharmaceutical companies, meet. It's an opportunity to either raise money or to potentially do deals, or maybe do both. What's the sort of key objective for your attendance here?
So we have always cultivated a really close network with pharmaceutical companies, with, of course, bankers, with investment funds. And so here we are primarily doing that again. We are exploring interest to some extent. We are not eager to do a particular deal at any time soon because we just closed the financing. We have enough money on the balance sheet. But we want to at least sort of like remain very visible and be open-minded to ideas and thoughts that we have in these discussions that we have during the JP Morgan meeting. And JP Morgan is ideal because literally everybody's here.
Okay, great. Yeah. So Norbert, well, thanks very much for stopping by. Thanks.